No, ma'am. Can you hear me? Madam President. Just got some notes, some air. I'm sorry? Well, yeah, you can't stop me. No, it can't. Under South Carolina law, South Carolina is a one-party consent state, so I can record this meeting. You cannot stop me. If you're streaming it live on Zoom or any kind of application, I have the right to record it. Did your attorney advise you that? Okay then. So my attorney advises me what the law is, and I do no research on the law. So you cannot stop me from recording. How you gonna?
Then I know you ain't called us out here for nothing, because I could have stayed home with my baby.
Yes. Okay. What's going on, everyone? King here, back for another video. So what you just saw was actually what you just heard was a soundbite of a meeting, an estate meeting that happened about 2 months ago, a month and a half ago or so. And so at the meeting, at the beginning of the meeting, after the roll call officers and reading of the minutes and the treasury report, whatever case may be, that I had a question about the minutes. And before I can finish my question, the president basically interrupted me and said that I can't record the meeting. That I was asked not to record. It was asked to record a meeting, that I can't record a meeting. I said no. Under South Carolina law, South Carolina is a one-party consent state, that I can't record this meeting because they were streaming it via Zoom. And maybe even on Facebook or whatever case may be, but they were streaming it live for people that were not in the state of South Carolina, could not make it to the meeting, that they could view the meeting online via Zoom. So my response was, well, since you're doing that, I can record it. And since I'm in the meeting, right, a one-party consent state, meaning that me as a one party, whether it be in a conversation, in person, over the phone, in a meeting, whatever the setting is, whatever the circumstances is, that I can record this meeting. There's some stipulations as to what can and cannot be recorded, but I won't get into that. But as far as me being in this meeting and other persons are present and they're streaming it live, because there's no telling what, and I can make an argument in court, right? But there's no telling whether or not that whoever is on the Zoom is recording the meeting. Now, there's times where I was the assistant secretary. Before that, I was a manager on the temporary board that was given the authority to be in that position based on agreements that were made in court, and a court order was signed saying that me and three other individuals will make up this temporary board, and that we will vote on one person, total 5 managers to be on this board. And so again, I was a manager, one of the managers, and assistant secretary on this board, and I attended meetings, chaired meetings, conducted meetings, whether a manager or assistant secretary, and I recorded meetings, even on Zoom. But there was when I was on Zoom meetings for the board meetings, that is, that as the assistant secretary, I tried to record from within the Zoom application, and I could not do that because the originator of the meeting, which was the secretary, for some reason it turned on that option, which is fine, but I was still able to record it from my laptop. Right? I'm well within my right. I can do that, and I don't need to get permission from another member of the board or whoever, because I'm a one party that's in the meeting. I can record it. You can't stop me. I don't have to let them know that I'm recording it. It's part of, right? We're having a meeting. There's nothing nefarious, nothing secretive about us having a meeting. It should be on record. It should be recorded. I was recording a meeting, and I saved it on my desktop, on my laptop, on my hard drive, whatever. But for her, this is like the second time now that a member of the board has tried to stop me from recording. They're trying to silence me. They're trying to silence members of my family from speaking up and standing up for their rights to this property. And it's wrong. It is wrong on so many levels. It's ridiculous that it comes down to this, that the president doesn't even know the laws. And the president, as a member of the board now, has an attorney. They have an attorney, and they hired an attorney with money from the estate. And me and my family members being part of the estate, we do not give them permission to do so. Nowhere in the bylaws does it say that a member of the board, or officer, or heir has a right to use the money from the estate to defend themselves against any kind of legal action, civil or criminal. They have no, what's the word? There's no clause to protect them. There's no clause in the bylaws that protects them. Now, other businesses might have that, it might be written to the clause, and they might have insurance to protect them, man in the loop, the key man clause, or whatever you want to call that clause, for as their insurance, but not here in far as the estate, it's association, because they don't have no money. We don't have no money. We don't have that kind of money. But yeah, they're trying to silence me and stop me from recording without even knowing the law. You heard in the video, I said, did your lawyer advise you on this? And they brushed me off. Like, whatever. Nothing you say matters. And then he went on during the meeting, and then you heard, I don't know if you heard it, well, probably gonna heard it in the video that my one of my family members, my cousin, said, I know you didn't call us down here to have this meeting. You're going to adjourn the meeting when hey, right is right and wrong is wrong. They're trying to silence me. They're trying to stop me from speaking up. Not just me, my members of my family. Right? It's crazy. It's crazy. And now that actually I'm back on the board, and not as assistant secretary, because we had a mediation agreement to put me back on the board to make sure that the board is doing things proper, and they're not even abiding by that agreement. So that's another thing we got to deal with in court now. That is ridiculous that in 2023 that people cannot follow rules and laws, and you wonder why there's all things going on. Lawsuit after lawsuit. This is the third lawsuit now. This is the third lawsuit. The first lawsuit was brought in 2011, 2015 over conversion conspiracy against members of my family for their hand in whatever they did. Over the bank account, over the money, over the members of property, and then people claiming to be heirs to the estate that one, that didn't prove it, and two, that it's known that they're not heirs, but they claim they had an invested interest in the property, and that will be dealt with too. That's going to be dealt with. And the second lawsuit, which is I got involved, was I brought forth the lawsuit to acquire the title to the property to determine who are the heirs, because it's been over how many years? Over 100 years since the original owners of the property died, thereabouts, right? The original owners of the property, purchased this property in the late 1800s, from 1878 to 1898. Yeah, so 1884 to 1898. Mm-hmm. And most of them died off before 1900, and some just after 1900, maybe before 1930. But still, roughly 100 years have passed since the original owners of the property died, and they died without a living will. They died out without naming who their children are, who their heirs are, who they were married to, who their children are. But granted, luckily, in doing my research, again, members of my family already had this information. They already discovered this information, did their research, right? Dating back to prior to 2011. So 2011, 2015, they had this information, but they didn't present it to the court. Imagine if members of my family presented this information to the court, where would we be at today? And then I came along to acquire the title, and the same individuals who sued members of my family in 2011, 2015, didn't produce not one single piece of evidence to prove that they were heirs to the property. No birth certificate, no death certificate, no marriage license, no obituaries, No funeral programs. Nothing. All they had was her name on a piece of paper. Generic family tree. Names on paper. Just didn't even break it down. They didn't even say who's the grandmother, who's the grandfather, who's the child, who's. They do none of that. They do none of that. They didn't start with the original owners and map their way down. You know, it's like a tree, right? You're gonna have the branches. They didn't do that. All they had was what is that? That's a sign of somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. That's not done the research. Who's not educated in family genealogy, family research, family history, the proper way of doing it. I mean, I went online and did Google and, hey, how do you build out a family tree? See the templates. See that? Okay, cool. Me and my uncle and two of my aunts were in my house 2 weekends in a row, 2 Saturdays in a row, building out our family tree. I got them right here. I got the boards right here. Four poster boards. And it's pretty big, you can't fit into the camera, but 4 poster boards, each depicting each one depicting a side of my family. So you got 2 depicting each side of my family tree. But I don't know what I'm talking about. I committed fraud. I'm a liar. All this stuff. 5 members of my own family calling me a liar, who were there with me, were in my house, helped me build out this family tree, who had the information, but didn't present it to the court. Could have put it into all this nonsense, who are heirs and who is not heirs. And those individuals who were being sued. Now, when I brought forth the lawsuit in 2017 and 2020, the quiet title, they refused to get involved. But yet they were sued in 2011, 2015, and it was advised by the court to quiet a title that everybody got to prove that they were heirs of property. There's even video that was recorded by a cousin of mine, a family member of mine, of one of the individuals that were sued, whose name is a defendant in the case now, until from 2011, 2015, of that, hey, he said the judge did say that you got to prove you were heirs of property, how you were heir of property. There will come a time. He said that I can't make you no heir. You got to come forth and say that you were heir. Those are his words. I got it on video. With his family members are present, listening to it. But they are up in arms about, they do not want me to record meetings. They're trying to silence me and my family. You see my cousin speaking up. And they want to adjourn the meeting and not follow proper procedure, proper protocol. Don't want to follow the bylaws, and they wonder why there's a lawsuit. You think this will fly if it was a business, a true business? Family members aside. Let's put family members aside. Let's put family relationships and feelings and everything aside. Would this be going down if this was an actual business? And there was a board of directors. And in this association, organization, whatever you call it, right, was in the business of making money. Like money's coming in, money's changing hands, money is flowing in and out, right? The business is supposed to be profitable. What's the point of going to business if you're not going to be profitable? What's the point of discussing business? Now, granted, we're family, but again, family members aside, what's the point of being in charge of managing if people are not going to do right? You cannot, this is shown in the video, but because I'll play it another time maybe, that I stood up and said, you cannot deny me and my family's rights to this property. You cannot silence me. We're heirs of property. Regardless of what you say, you think, and feel. We're heirs of property. So I will stand up and speak. You can't silence me. I call them out on the bylaws. They're trying to establish committees to change the bylaws, and people are not heirs to the property, right? You got spouses in this meeting who are not heirs because the bylaw says no spouse is supposed to be at meetings, right? And one of the spouses, his name is a defendant in the case because they made a false claim that they were heirs to property, and I can't wait to provide the evidence to prove it. Again, when we have a mediation agreement and they're not abiding by it, they're trying to silence me. They're ignoring the statements and questions that I make at these meetings. Anything my mother says or my cousin says, or any family member says, they're like, they got this, excuse my language, half-ass answer, right? But it's okay for other people to stand up and speak out against me, my mother, my family in a hostile manner. I got it on video too. But the minute I say something that's, intelligent, I'm being articulate, I'm expressing my point, it's a problem. If I mention that I'm recording this, it's a problem. But anybody else can stand up and speak and say what they want to say at the meeting, but not me, not my mother, not a cousin that goes against what they're there for. It's ridiculous. I won't be silenced. In the board, I'm back on the board until this legal fight is over. They cannot ignore me. They're ignoring me because they don't like the fact that I'm questioning them on why they're spending money. When's the next board meeting? What they sent out information that is not accurate, claiming that this, that, and the third. Trying to paint me, my mother, my family in a negative light, which again goes against doing things decent, good order. In the bylaw says it. The bylaw says that as an officer, as a member of the board, even the heirs, that you're going to do things. You should do things proper, decent, good order. You do things in good faith. Be respectful. Be transparent. Be open and honest. Right? Be compromising. Be compassionate. Right? Avoid any kind of conflict. Avoid confrontation. Don't enter into any kind of agreement or conduct business that can be viewed as a conflict of interest. Right? It's all there in the bylaws. I drafted the bylaws. I know what I'm talking about. Am I an expert? No, I'm not. Am I the end-all be-all? No, I'm not. Is it my way to the highway? No, it's not. But in order to make sure that people are doing things proper, doing things right, and we're not going through this again, it has to be done right. It has to be done fair for everybody to have a voice. But they're not listening because it goes against what they want to get done. It goes against, well, we don't understand. We're family. Family or not. Because we all know how family is. How family can be. And I'm learning out this hard way. From the time that I was a young man to growing up, going into the military, I was oblivious. I was naive to what family could do to each other. There were signs, but as a teenager, as a young man, to adulthood, I ignored the signs because it was family. Family members took advantage of me. My cousins took advantage of me and my sister. Just disrespected me and my sister and my mother. But we brushed it off because we were kids, because we were teenagers, because we were... Even after being in the military, coming home, I've seen it, how my cousins treated not only me, my sister, each other, how they treat my mother, her aunts, my aunts, uncles, her siblings, have been disrespectful towards me, my mother, and other family members. It's crazy and ridiculous. The amount of lies that are being told and false information that are being spread. It's a cancer. It's a virus that needs to be carved out. We need to get to the truth. And I got a lot more videos to show, a lot more things to talk about. I don't want go on and on. But I just put out a video. The legal fight is heating up. Talk about my experience dealing with lawyers and family and their property. I just hope it comes to a time that we can stop this. That there will be some kind of legal resolution that we can move together as a family, as a community, as heirs to this property. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it at that. I thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching this video. Give this video a like, share this video, leave a comment, and I'll catch you in another video. Take care. Peace.